Scattered across the world, there are people whose bodies have grown in ways that science struggles to fully explain. From record-breaking extremities to features that have inspired myths and legends for centuries, these individuals defy everything we think we know about normal human anatomy. Each one has been officially verified, and each one will genuinely surprise you. Here are people with the longest body parts in the world.
Gary Turner, the longest skin stretch ever measured. One of the most unusual human body part records does not involve hair, bones, or nails at all. Instead, it involves human skin elasticity. And the record belongs to Gary Turner, a man from Caister, Lincolnshire, England. During official demonstrations verified by Guinness World Records, Turner was able to stretch his skin on his abdomen to an astonishing 15.8 centimeters. 6.25 inches away from his body. The measurement was confirmed during a record event in 2010, where judges used calibrated measuring tools to determine the maximum distance the skin could be pulled without injury. Scientifically, the reason for this extreme stretch lies in a rare connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. According to research from the National Institutes of Health, ladies and gentlemen, a new Guinness World Record for the world's stretchiest skin. Gary Turner. The condition affects the body's ability to produce normal collagen, the structural protein that gives skin strength and stability. In most people, skin can stretch only 1 to 2 centimeters before resistance increases sharply. But in individuals with certain forms of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, weakened collagen fibers allow the skin to stretch far beyond normal biological limits. Doctors studying the condition note that the ability looks dramatic, it is actually a medical abnormality affecting connective tissue stability throughout the body. Even so, Turner's case remains one of the most extraordinary examples of how a single human body tissue can stretch far beyond what biology normally allows.
Sultan Kozan, the longest arm span ever recorded. When scientists talk about extreme human proportions, Sultan Kozan is one of the most studied individuals in modern anatomy. Best known as the tallest living man, Kozan also holds the Guinness World Record for one of the largest arm spans ever measured. During an official measurement conducted by Guinness World Records in February 2011, Kozan's arm span was recorded at 2.75 meters, 9 feet 0.25 inches, from fingertip to fingertip. For comparison, anthropometric studies published by the National Center for Biotechnology Information show that the average human arm span is usually almost identical to a person's height. This relationship is so consistent that doctors often use arm span to estimate height when patients cannot stand. Kozan's case breaks that rule dramatically. Although his height measures 2.51 meters, 8 feet 2.8 inches, his arm span exceeds that height by more than 24 centimeters. The reason lies in a rare endocrine disorder known as pituitary giantism. 146.5 centimeters, confirmed as the Guinness World Records world's tallest man. According to endocrinology research from the Mayo Clinic, this condition occurs when a tumor in the pituitary gland produces excessive growth hormone during childhood. The hormone overstimulates bone growth, especially in the long bones of the arms and legs. Kozan's wingspan is so large that his reach alone is longer than the height of most adults on Earth, making him one of the most physically extraordinary people ever measured by modern science. Jason Rodriguez Hernandez, the longest feet ever recorded. A 20-year-old man from Venezuela has officially broken the Guinness World Record for the largest feet. One of the most astonishing human body part records belongs to Jason Rodriguez Hernandez, a Venezuelan man whose feet are officially the largest ever measured on a living person. According to Guinness World Records, his right foot measures 40.55 centimeters, 15.96 inches, while his left foot measures 40.47 centimeters, 15.94 inches. These measurements were officially confirmed on June 12, 2014 in Maracay, Venezuela.
To understand how extraordinary this is, anthropometric data published by the National Center for Biotechnology Information shows that the average adult male foot length globally ranges between 26 and 28 centimeters. That means Rodriguez's feet are roughly 45% longer than the global average. Because of their size, he wears a US size 26 shoe, which is so rare that almost no commercial manufacturer produces footwear in that size. For years, he relied on custom shoes donated by companies and charities. Rodriguez stands at 2.20 meters, 7 feet 2.6 inches, and doctors have linked his unusual proportions to gigantism, a medical condition caused by excessive growth hormone produced by the pituitary gland during childhood. In interviews following the record confirmation, Rodriguez explained that finding shoes during his childhood was almost impossible, often forcing him to walk to school in sandals, even during rough weather. Today, his record stands as one of the clearest examples of how dramatically human skeletal growth can vary under rare hormonal conditions.
Svetlana Pankratova, the longest legs ever recorded on a woman. When people talk about extreme human proportions, one name appears again and again: Svetlana Pankratova. In 2008, researchers working with Guinness World Records confirmed that her legs measured 132 centimeters, 52 inches, from hip to heel, making them the longest legs on a living woman. To understand how unusual this is, consider the global average. According to anthropometric studies conducted by the National Health Statistics, the average adult woman has legs measuring roughly 90 to 95 centimeters from hip joint to heel. That means Pankratova's legs are almost 40% longer than typical human proportions. Her total height is 196 centimeters, 6 feet 5 inches. But what makes the record extraordinary is the ratio of leg length to torso. Biomechanical analysis by sports scientists at Virginia Commonwealth University, where she once played basketball, showed that her legs account for more than 67% of her total height. In most adults, legs account for only about 50%. Her unusual proportions gave her a major advantage in basketball during the 1992 to 1995 seasons in the United States. When Guinness measured her in Trafalgar Square, London, on September 16, 2008, standing next to the world's shortest man, the contrast stunned crowds. And that moment cemented her place in human anatomical history.
Sarwan Singh, the longest beard ever measured on a living man. Among the most visually striking human body part records belongs to Sarwan Singh, a Canadian resident originally from Punjab, India, whose beard stretches far beyond what most people could imagine. According to Guinness World Records, Singh's beard was officially measured on September 8, 2010 in Surrey, British Columbia, where judges recorded a length of 2.495 meters, 8 feet 2.5 inches from the chin to the tip of the beard. That length is extraordinary when compared to normal beard hair growth. Dermatology research from the American Academy of Dermatology shows that beard hair grows on average about 1.25 centimeters per month, which equals roughly 15 centimeters per year. To grow a beard approaching 2.5 meters, it would require more than 15 years of uninterrupted growth, assuming perfect conditions and minimal breakage. For Singh, a beard is not just a record, but also a reflection of faith. As a follower of Sikhism, he follows the religious principle known as Kesh, which encourages believers to allow hair to grow naturally as a sign of respect for the human body. Maintaining such a beard requires careful grooming. Singh has explained in interviews that he washes and combs it daily and often wraps it for protection during sleep or travel. Measured from his chin, the beard is longer than the height of most 8-year-old children, making it one of the most remarkable examples of extreme human hair growth ever recorded.
In 2012, officials from Guinness World Records confirmed one of the strangest anatomical records ever measured: the tongue of American artist Nick Stoberow. During an official measurement conducted in Salinas, California, Stoberow's tongue stretched 10.1 centimeters, 3.97 inches, from the tip to the middle of the closed lips.
For comparison, medical studies in oral anatomy published in the Journal of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery show that the average adult tongue extension is roughly 7 to 8 centimeters, meaning Stoborough's tongue is nearly 40% longer than typical human anatomy. What makes his case scientifically interesting is the structure of the genioglossus muscle, the primary muscle responsible for tongue extension. Researchers explain that tongue length differences are partly genetic and partly related to the size of the oral cavity and muscle elasticity. Stoborough's tongue allows him to perform unusual movements that most people cannot replicate. In demonstrations recorded for Guinness in November 2012, he was able to touch the tip of his nose and even lick his elbow, something anatomists say fewer than 1% of people can achieve. Despite the unusual appearance, doctors confirmed his tongue is fully healthy and functional, with no signs of macroglossia, the medical condition involving abnormal tongue enlargement. Today, Stoborough often appears at science and anatomy events, showing how even a small part of the human body can produce a world record measurement.
Zhang Ruifang, the longest human cutaneous horn. One of the strangest and most fascinating extreme body part growth cases ever documented was Huang Ruifang, an elderly woman from Henan Province, China, who developed what doctors identified as a cutaneous horn growing from her forehead. According to medical reports covered by People's Daily and later discussed by dermatologist researchers, the horn measured approximately 6 centimeters, about 2.3 inches, when it attracted international attention in 2010. A cutaneous horn is a rare medical condition in which keratin, the same structural protein found in hair and fingernails, builds up in a cone-shaped projection from the skin. Dermatologists studying the phenomenon have published clinical analyses in the British Journal of Dermatology explaining that the structure can grow slowly over years if untreated. Most cutaneous horns are less than 1 centimeter long, making Zhang's several centimeter growth unusually large. In medical literature, horns longer than 5 centimeters are considered extremely rare. Doctors who examined her noted that the growth likely developed from a benign keratin-producing skin lesion, though such horns must always be medically evaluated because about 20% of cases are associated with underlying skin cancers. Photographs published in Chinese media showed the horn curving outward from her forehead, giving it the appearance of a small animal horn, which is why these growths historically inspired legends about human horns. Although rare, the condition demonstrates how keratin-based tissues in the human body can sometimes grow into extraordinary and unexpected forms, creating one of the most unusual body part phenomena ever recorded. Lee Redmond, the longest fingernails ever recorded. Few human body part records required as much patience as the fingernails of Lee Redmond, a woman from Salt Lake City, Utah. For nearly 30 years, she carefully grew and maintained what became the longest fingernails ever recorded on a pair of hands. According to Guinness World Records, when her nails were officially measured in 2008, their combined length reached 8.65 meters, 28 feet 4.5 inches. To understand how extraordinary that is, medical studies from the American Academy of Dermatology show that human fingernails normally grow about 3 millimeters per month, or roughly 3.6 centimeters per year. At that rate, growing nails to more than 8 meters total length required decades of uninterrupted growth. Redmond began growing her nails in 1979, carefully shaping and cleaning them every day. She reportedly spent several hours each week maintaining them to prevent cracking or breakage. Scientists explained that fingernails are made primarily of keratin, the same protein found in hair. While keratin is strong, extremely long nails become fragile because their weight increases stress along the nail plate. Tragically, the record ended suddenly in February 2009 when Redmond was involved in a car accident that broke all of her nails. Despite losing them, her record remains one of the most dramatic examples of how far a single human body part can grow when given enough time and care. Myself, yeah, I would say I was going to, but they become such a part of you, that was just part of my body that I nurtured and took care of for over 30 years.